Hello everybody. Right, so we just rigged up. We just got a early morning session, just going to fish for a couple of hours. Not had no breakfast. I literally got up and just got in the car and gone. It was a bit late this morning actually. So anyway, I'm fishing a spot where I had a run last week and the bloody thing got off. There you go, that happens sometimes. Shit happens. But I'll just show you what we're doing. We're fishing two rods. I'm not fishing too far out. Now this is an area where people generally take their kids for a walk and dogs for a walk and stuff like that. And you find a lot of people do chuck in a lot of bread just off here for swans and things like that, and ducks. And the match fishermen do quite well along here for that reason, and if you've got the smaller fish then you get the pike. It's as simple as that really. So a bit misty today. It's not rocket science this pike fishing, it's about just putting in the time, and if you're after a decent one, it's sort of knowing where there's a few decent ones likely to be and just putting in the time. That's all you got to do, and expect a lot of blanks. You can pick up lots of little fish and stuff like that, but to get a real good one this present day anyway, it takes a bit of time, but just a bit of perseverance and you can be surprised. You can get yourself a nice double figure fish. For me, if you get a double figure fish, that is mission accomplished. But it's always nice to get a real specimen fish. There's nothing more satisfying than getting a real monster. It really does put a glow into your day and your week, you know. It's but here we are. So we're fishing half a mackerel. Well, basically it's a whole joey mackerel with the head chopped off, and they seem to be liking them at the minute. So anything can happen really, from inside the first few minutes of your dead bait going out there to anything up to sort of 2 hours is what I say from my experience. Don't be surprised if you chuck it out and you get a run straight away. I mean, I'm talking 4 or 5 minutes, even on a frozen bait. So, but like you say, if you hadn't had anything in 2 hours in a spot, you might as well move 100 yards along. I'll be brutally honest. This particular spot does require to have a bit of flow in the river, and that comes from a certain part of the tide. So you've got to be sort of familiar with your flows and things like that. I find here the fish come at a certain sort of window. There's a few hours when the flow's at the peak. I'm not sure why, but it's something to do with it makes them hungry, or and mainly it's all daylight. The fish are all coming in daylight, so I have spent some time in the dark here fishing for them. I just can't seem to do any good. I seem to be getting them all in the daylight. A nice colour in it as well. This is either the 2nd or the 3rd of March, so we're actually running out of time now, because the season closes on the 14th, and yeah, so we're now just trying to sort of to get a nice one sort of before the season shuts really, until next year, and then we'll start focusing on a whole different new sort of fishing. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Because springtime is a whole host of sea angling starts to come good, and we probably be looking to might even get into the commercials in sort of spring, and try and get a decent carp, something like that. We'll see what that sort of brings. So that's the strategy anyway. Yep, so 5 more minutes and then I'm done. I've sat here for nearly 2 hours and 3/4 and nothing. It happens sometimes, nothing you can do about it. I've given it every opportunity to get a run, and there comes a time when you just, you know, when you feel you need to sort of pack your gear up, that's what you've got to do. It's you do get a lot of blanks, but I'll be honest with you. There's a few people turned up who are fishing now, but I'm not convinced they've turned up at the right time. But you won't get a more perfect day. Look, you get heavy cloud. It's actually quite mild now at the minute. The water's got a nice dark sort of colour to it. Like I say, you give it every opportunity to try and get one, and that's it. And there comes a point when you just, there's no point just sort of sitting here, you know. If you feel that you're, you know, the best part where you feel you could have got one, if that's gone, then you need to move, and the next day, you know, you want to fish somewhere slightly different. Not necessarily a different lake or river, but just a different stretch of it. Just like maybe even just like 100 yards, 200 yards. Because of COVID, there's a lot of people fishing at the minute. There's a lot of angling pressure on these stretches, and then they could have, the good fish get caught and they move off and they get fed up with being bloody caught. So, you know, that's just the way it is. But I think you need to find an area where there's not so many people wet a line, and I think we'll get a run. So there we go. Alright guys, I'll catch you later when we've got a bacon on. Morning everybody, back on the riverbank again. It's a lovely cold winter's morning again, and we've just put them out, and probably going to fish this one for about 3 hours, something like that, and then we're going to call it a day. So that's when we think we're going to get them. And yeah, there's a nice bit of flow in the river at the minute, nice colour to it. We're up and away, a stretch of water away from the a lot of the angling pressure here. So we've got a mackerel, we've got a whole mackerel, or joey mackerel, more that side of the bank, okay, that sort of an angle over there, and we've got half a large herring directly in the middle, right in the middle of the lake. So we'll just space them out a little bit, and we'll just sort of see if there's anything there. Very quiet, no one else fishing, no one else walking dogs, very eerily quiet. So let's just see if we can get that big one. So the best time to get them is anywhere from now, really. It's whenever you got this sort of good flow in the river like this. And I got one in the middle, and I got one a bit over, a bit further tighter to that side. It's probably better to have your baits tighter to this side, because it's a lot faster just in here, tight to this canal sheep pilings, than it is. But there's still good flow out in the middle, and the far side's a bit slower, but I'd say I get most fish from that side.
Another pike. Nice fish. Nice one there. So he's about he's about 33. I'd say it's about 12 pound. Got to watch the rod. Don't tread on the rod. £12, something like that. Nice fish. Nice solid fish. There you go. Lovely fish. It's about £13, something like that. Not as big as the other one I just had. Nice fish. Mackerel. Right, back he goes. Back he goes. Come on. One fish, one dead bait left. That's out there. There's two. About half an hour apart. So there's one, I reckon he's about 28. I'd say he was about 13. Something like that. And that's in just over an hour's fishing. I was up at 5:30 this morning to get here. Not over yet, got one left, and that's it. Incredible, incredible. I've had two get off recently, and now I've had this one. So, just take the blows, just keep going back in, keep going back in. Incredible, incredible. Nothing grabbed there, and nothing grabbed it right over there, and we've just sort of moved it a bit. You just never fucking know with it. Never fucking know. That drag fucking floats the drag. The line is not on the bottom. They drag even just anyway, they've been dragging, I think. Some shit and crap comes in. Something I think they're doing is just is moving. I think it's rubbish. Ah.